Just how does climate change, the melting of the glaciers and increasingly unpredictable rainfall patterns make cooperation under the Indus Water Treaty even more important today?
Look, the climate change remains to be a slow moving process. However, the consequences and impacts of climate change are very intense and they are visible. The weather patterns are becoming erratic, the rainfall is becoming more and more unpredictable, the precipitation levels are. Sometimes erratic. Sometimes they are unprecedented rains in a season which there is no forecast for rains, and sometimes there are low rainfall in a season which needs to have more rainfall. So in this kind of situation, the best policy for both countries, and I think more countries in the region, including India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and other countries in the region, the way forward is more cooperation, more sharing of data, more strategies and plannings for combating the ill effects of climate change and for making plans and preparedness which spans not only just one country, but it is a regional preparedness for the climate change impacts, which includes better water sharing, better data sharing, better preparedness for droughts and food storage and food security. So these kind of things needs more cooperation between the regional countries and not less. So if India creates a hurdle in terms of data sharing, in terms of water sharing, transboundary water sharing, and not only that, but it puts in question the already agreed upon policies and agreed upon treaties. That's very unfortunate. And I would say that the best foot forward for both Pakistan and India is to create more, cooperation and more means in which the confidence building is enhanced so that the people of both the countries should benefit from the technologies and preparedness and policies and whatever resources that both countries have in order to help the people navigate through the impacts of climate change, rather than to deprive them of the benefits of cooperation.
For sure. And Ms., could disrupting the natural flow of these rivers increase Pakistan's vulnerability to, say, droughts, floods, and other climate-related disasters?
The thing is that rivers cannot be fully contained unless you are able to change the terrain of the rivers. In the Indus Water Treaty, I don't know how many people already know this, but when the Indus Water Treaty was signed in 1960, in September of 1960, the treaty ensured that 80% of the water of the Indus Basin was to be used by Pakistan, 80%. And the remaining 20% was to be used by India. How? Because the treaty divided the eastern and western rivers. So in Punjab, the five rivers do not include Indus. These rivers include Ravi, Jhelum, Chenab, Beas, and Satluj. So the three eastern rivers were the smaller rivers that were given to India, and the two bigger rivers, Chenab and Jhelum, were given to Pakistan. And the Indus River is the biggest river. So Indus Water Treaty ensured that the major recipient of the benefits of all the western rivers was Pakistan. But because it was a lopsided treaty, so it was exactly mentioned in the treaty that India could use the waters of the western rivers in a non-consumptive manner. They cannot store the water, they cannot change the direction of the flow patterns of the water, but they can use it for energy generation, they can use it for fisheries, they can use it for irrigation, they can use it for non-consumptive purposes. But if India sticks to the agreement and treaty clauses and uses the water for run of the river energy generation, that's fine. So they already have Nimubaz project on Indus River, and that's producing energy for them. They have other uses for the river. However, the problem and crisis would be if India was to build permanent structures or permanent infrastructure on the river. So they already have an infrastructure on Chenab River, which we know is the Bagalihar Dam. on Chenab, and India has the capacity to disrupt the flow of water for a few days. But that's just for a few days, because you cannot store a river. You cannot store the water of a river for more than a few days, because then it becomes a danger for the infrastructure itself. So it can disrupt the water, but it cannot stop the flow of Indus River towards Pakistan, because Indus is one of the mightiest rivers of the world. And out of the total capacity and volume of water in the Indus Water Treaty, 167 billion cusics of water is being used by Pakistan. 167 billion cusics, and 41 billion cusics is being used by India. So Indus Water Treaty is the lifeline of Pakistan. Indus Water Treaty is out of question that we can compromise on any water, because Pakistan's economy depends on agriculture, largely on agriculture, although it is a small portion of the GDP, but for the food security, which is, of course, a question of national security. So we need the agriculture to be optimized in all its shapes and forms, not just for food security, but for ensuring the economic activity in the country, and for making sure that the people are working and generating income from the related businesses of agriculture.
Ms. Noreen, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it lots.